Okay, everybody, it is the Great Bead Extravaganza preview. We made it. I made it. Oh, it's been a crazy week. I'm so glad it's Friday. I hope all of you all are good. Let's see. We've got everybody. Everybody's here. Love it. Thank you, Deborah. I'm so glad you love these mixes. You know, I have been working on these mixes for weeks. Janice and I have. Miranda has, Chris has, packaging, pulling the color stories and everything together. And I'm so excited that they're almost ready. Well, they're ready to launch. They're going to launch at noon today. I'm sorry, I meant to have them go live tonight or this morning at midnight, but it just didn't happen. So I thought, you know what? It's probably better to do it after the show anyway, so you can see everything and stuff. So I was like, I'm not going to sweat it. I'm not going to sweat over it. Just real quick to let you know, and we're going to talk about TGBE. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff, but let's get started. And let me let you know that all of our socials here on Bead Shop, you can find us, of course, on Facebook, on Insta, on Pinterest. Hit that like, subscribe, and notification button if you're watching us live on YouTube or on the replay. We're all over social at beadshop.com. So tag us wherever you are, share this content out. And of course, you can hit us up at info@beadshop.com if you have any questions. So that's that story. Now, as you know, this weekend is the Great Bead Extravaganza. And for those of you who are new to us or new to the TGBE, what it is it's an event that we started back in 2020, deep into the pandemic. And some of us bead companies who've been friends for a long, long time decided to band together and create kind of an online bead show. Well, that online bead show has grown and grown and grown. This, I think, is our 18th broadcast, our 18th time. We come at you 4 times a year, Winter Wonderland. I don't think it's Winter Wonderland, but that's what I always call it. The winter show was in January. Spring Fling is this one right now that's starting tonight with the preview party. Then we've got our summer midsummer market, I think is what it's called. That one's coming up later this summer, I think in July, maybe. And then in the fall, I think it's October, we do our Autumn Fest. So we come at you 4 times a year. We'll announce the dates on Sunday during our Ask Me Anything broadcast for the next one, so you can mark your calendars. But it's going to be super fun. We start tonight with a preview party with everyone who's a part of the Great Bead Extravaganza. We start that tonight, 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And everyone's going to be there. We're going to talk about our projects that we're showing. Also, our special guest presenter, Francesca Watson, is going to be there sharing again her project for you. And then also, I wanted to let you folks know, here I am behind it, you can enter to win one of 3 $150 bead shopping sprees, courtesy of the Great Bead Extravaganza companies. You jump over to the Great Bead Extravaganza group and you input your email, and we do a drawing in about a week, and 3 lucky winners are going to win some gift certificates to go shopping at all of the Great Bead Extravaganza companies. And for this weekend, we've got a store-wide going on for you. It started this morning, goes all the way through Sunday night at midnight. If you enter code TGBE15 at checkout, you will save 15% store-wide on everything. It excludes like retreat, deposits and gift certificates and things in Bead Shop Studio. But other than that, it's good store-wide, and it ends on Sunday night at midnight. So what I'm going to share with you today, my friends, is what we've been working on so hard on this. And oh, it's great. We're seeing so many people jump in and say hello. Thanks, JP, for putting that link in. Love that. Cheryl, do you remember the first TGBE? It's true. The first one that I filmed, if you go back and watch it, because it's on the Bead Shop YouTube, I think it's in a Great Bead Extravaganza playlist. We were in a hotel room in Pismo Beach. I broadcasted from a hotel room. It was funny. It was, those deep pandemic times, man. It was just crazy. Let's see what else we've got here. I'm just looking to see here. And so Terry, not everyone has the same coupon code. Okay. So just to let you know, our different stores have different codes. Some people don't have different codes. Some stores may also be using this TGBE 15. So double check with the individual companies as to who's giving a discount. Some people are doing giveaways. Some people are doing free gifts. So you never know what's going to happen. But I do recommend, my friends, shop early before your favorite items are out of stock, because our Great Bead Extravaganza. Oh, and thank you, my friend. The inventory is definitely limited to what we've got on hand. Though I'm really excited about these mixes. We're going to talk about them. If you like them, and you folks have been loving mixes for sure, if you love them, I'm going to be doing more of these. Okay, so these are, we kind of went back to some old tried and true vendors. I know that you've been loving kind of the vintage mixes that I've been putting together. So we went back to some old school tried and true vendors that we actually haven't bought from in a while, for years, actually. And we saw that they had some like old school stuff that is available. So we created these 3 collections. Okay. So if you like these, there's going to be more of this kind of bespoke, kind of Kate curated, Janice curated kind of items as well. So let me tell you, these collections are meant to kind of mix and match. They're all sold like a fancy steakhouse a la carte, right? So there are no combo meals here. So let me show you. In the newsletter, it kind of shows everything. I think that this screenshot is going to show that. So bear with me here just a second. But they're really fun. What I do when I curate these items is I kind of have this special kind of crazy way of putting these things together. What I do is I screenshot, and then I mix and match all of these screenshots on a big sheet of paper, right? And then, Janice, you're making me want to go to Steakhouse. Fleming's, right here in Fresno, one of my faves. So let me show you here. So here they are, and you can kind of see them. I'll show them to you again, but everything is going to launch at noon, and there'll be links to the different collections. You'll be able to kind of, grab all of the stuff together. I have 3 collections created. I did one called Aurora Garden, one called Amber Alchemy, and one called Phoenix Festival. And let me get them in that order on the camera. Hang on, let me move these around. That's Phoenix Festival. And here is Amber Alchemy. Okay. And so there's a bead mix in each one. There's a sequin mix in each one. And there's a crystal and rhinestones mix in each one. Okay, so let me bring my camera in so you can see this. We also have new bezels that I'm going to show you. But let's take a look. Let me highlight this one. I'm going to take this banner off for the moment so it's not overly distracting. I'm going to move my camera and I'm going to zoom in. Hang on while I do that. Okay, there we go. Looks good. Okay, so this one, make sure, can you see that? Okay, I think so. Oops, let me get this. I've got too many windows open. What a surprise. Let me close some of this stuff up. So this is the Aurora Garden right here, this one. You can see here, this one's called Twilight Bloom. Isn't that one pretty? This one, and that's the Aurora Petals. And this is the Mystic Mirage, Rhinestone and Crystal Mix. Then here we've got the Amber Alchemy collection. This bead mix is called Ash and Amber. Then we've got the Luster Forge sequin mix. And then we've got the Golden Ember rhinestone mix. Then on this last one, this is Phoenix Festival. This is Firebird. This is Carnival Gleam. And this one is Twilight Tempo. Okay. So they're really fun, curated, and you can take a little screenshot. That's good screenshot time. You'll get them all. They'll all be tagged and marked so you'll know which is which. But essentially, if I were you, I would buy all 9 of these components. And I would also buy, if you haven't yet, the Gatsby 2. You could also, if you bought some of this Starlight mix, that works beautifully. If you have either of the monthly mixes that sadly were out of, the Corey and the Blue Note, all of these mixes, all of the monthly mixes and stuff that we've done, these will all coordinate really, really nicely, as well as some of the pearl strands that I've dropped lately. Okay. Let me go to questions if there's questions over here. Hang on. So all of these, Cindy, these all drop at noon. They'll all go into Just In. I also have a shop the show where these will all be. I'm going to post it all on the homepage as well. But the place to go at noon really is Just In. But I also have like a bead embroidery category. I'll put it, as I say, on the homepage. It'll have all the bezels. It'll have everything linked on there as well. Okay, and we've got a good amount. They're not going to sell out in minutes. Okay, we tried to make enough so that they'll maybe, hopefully, at least last through Saturday. But you don't have to worry. I would shop today after the show, but there's going to be plenty for you. Okay. Thank you, Margaret. I'm so glad you loved your broom grab bag. I just love putting all of these mixes together. So each collection does have 3 separate components. I just put them in a collection like this. Everything is sold separately. So if you like this Twilight Bloom, but you like this Luster sequin mix, you can mix and match, or you can get them all. Okay. I love sequins too, right? I'm going to open up these sequins so you can see them. I have been hoarding these sequins for about, 5 or 6 years, because I have wanted, and I'm going to show you, Ma, how I use the sequins. Trust me, It's going to be a lot of fun with these. I have been hoarding these sequins, and I've wanted to do bead embroidery with them. And I thought, you know what? There's no time like the present. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do them. So what I'm gonna do for you is I'm gonna mix. Let me get some little bowls here. I think I'm gonna dump my 3 mixes in these bowls, and let's take a look at them. Okay. I've also put down the ultra suede. I'm going to use the ultra suede as the backing. You can use the channel bangles and stitch some of this stuff in those. We'll talk about these bezels, the new bezels, in a second. Okay. You can use some of these sequins with the tambour needle for sure. So let me start by putting the bead mixes in little white dishes. Shall I do that first? Let me do that. Let me clear some white dishes here for you. I need to get some more. I've broken a few. But there's one. Let me get a couple more. I know I've got them here. Oh gosh, these are so pretty. This is definitely just playing with beads, right? So good. The bezels can also be used with resin, and I'm going to measure these and stuff as well for you. Okay, so I have like anxiety. Can you tell? I'm like, oh my God, I have anxiety. I'm so excited. So let me start with, this is Ashen Amber right there. This will be Firebird, and this is Twilight Bloom. So these bead mixes, I went old school. There is a duo of beads in these, of beads that we carried way back in the day. We carried a version of this at the brick and mortar bead shop. Okay. They're called tiny flats. We used to call them chiclets back in the day. So let me start with Twilight Bloom. Twilight Bloom has the chiclets, it has twisted bugles, and it has 8 and 11/0 in Miyuki. So it's a check Miyuki mix. Okay. The little bowls you can certainly find on Amazon. They're like little sauce dishes, right? So this is going to come in a bag. I was going to tube them like this, but I liked how all of these went together in a bag, so I bagged everything. This bag is 22 grams, same as the tube. Okay, so let me zoom in a little bit here for you. This one, as I say, this is Twilight Bloom. And the little flat beads, these are a 5 millimeter by about 3 to 4 millimeter, I think. Little flat check glass. And there's like 4 or 5 different finishes on here. Isn't this great? And they're just going to stitch in and nestle in just perfectly. I love it. Here's the twisted bugle in that patina iris that we love. We've got a couple of varieties of 8/0 in here, and and one variety of 11s. Okay, so that's this. Okay, that's Twilight Bloom. Let's go to Ash and Amber. Ash and Amber has, let me dump it here. It has the tiny flats, it has 8/0, and it has 6/0. Okay. The 6/0, this is the 6/0. These are colors that we don't, this is like a latte color or whatever. We don't carry. These are all pretty much mix exclusives. Look at the little tiny chiclet flats. I'm going to call them chiclets. I just because of habit, but just look at how cool they are. And then there's a twist bugle, a 6mm, and kind of that bronzy color there, right? I know, old school chiclets. These are so old school, right? I love them, love so much. Then, so that's ash and amber. Here is Firebird. I'm not sure which one is my favorite, to be honest. I love them all so much. And remember, I did these all without seeing the beads in person. I had a huge, like a blank sheet on the desktop on my computer, and I keep putting in screenshots of the different beads until I've got my palette together. It's crazy. Yeah, the mini chiclets, I just adore them. Here is Firebird. Wait till you see this one. Miranda was doubtful. Miranda's all, I don't know. And I'm all, just trust me. Just trust me. And we got it. We're all, oh, yeah, that looks good. I was a little worried, to be completely honest. But I love the way it came out. So it's got some pink. It's got some orange. It's got some red. It's got this turquoise blue. It's kind of a crazy mix. Look at, here's another. Look at that. Look at how good those are. Then the bugle, the twist, is just a transparent, no color lined. Look at that. Look at that seafoam bugle, right? Then this has just 8/0 in it. It has a bunch of different 8/0, no 6s and no 11s. Okay. Oh, see, look at, here's a bright. It also has a hot pink one. Look at how great. Yeah, this is very Terry, a definite Abby Berta from the Bead Place. This is a definite Abby palette. Look at how cool that is, right? So yeah, these little dishes, Debbie, what I was saying, you can probably find these little dishes on Amazon. I think I have them linked on our Amazon storefront. Okay. Let me do this. So now let's look at the sequins. Okay. So I'm going to come in here. Let me zoom out. And yeah, for bead embroidery, I think the secret to bead embroidery, at least Cindy, the way that I do it, right, is I like a lot of flip and texture on mine, right? This is very like random, very old school, very like couture, if I do say so myself. So see how in that first Gatsby mix, there's a chiclet right in there. I'm like, I have to replicate it, right? So there's one right there. Let me zoom in. Look at how great these look. There we go. Can you see that? I think it just looks delish. And Terry, I agree, my friend. You could do this multi-strand and mixed media projects 100%. Remember that little, I'm thinking about stringing, and I'm thinking about stringing the sequins, to be completely honest, instead of, I want to do a stringing project with the sequins as well. Remember that little strand, there it is. This bead that I showed you, and I think I'm gonna try and do a special mix for this necklace sometime. But these are all those little ones. This would look great strung up as a skinny strand. You could do multiple strands of that, right? And then we're going to do this project, this bead, kind of my version of a of a netted bead kind of thing. We'll get to that. So grab a couple of these mixes if you like them, because again, I'm not going to look backwards. I'm going to keep looking forwards to the mixes. Okay, I'm going to keep making fresh ones. So collect them, right? I have my whole collection. So I have one original Gatsby mix that I am hoarding. It's like a bottle of wine that I'm putting down in the wine cellar, right? So there's Firebird. Here's the Ash and Amber. So now let's do the sequence. Okay. Let me get the sequence here. I hope you're having fun. I'm having so much fun. Miranda's laughing at me.
Sarcastic.
No, I am. I am.
I know. I know you are.
So fun. So next in the Aurora Garden collection, we're going to use the Sequin Mix Aurora Petals. Let's put this Sequin Mix, let's put it straight down there. Let me get there so you can see this. You're going to lose your mind. Mary, the mixes are going to launch at noon. Okay? So they'll all launch, they'll be in the Just In. They'll all jump in. And Carolyn, I wouldn't call this bead embroidery. I would just call this stitching a bunch of random beads on a thing. I mean, you know, we don't have to be fancy with our names. This could just be stab ultra suede over and over and put beads on it. Right? Right? And it's true, Stem Hilly. Use those mixes. My friend that you've been collecting from us over the years. So here's the first bag of sequins. This one is called Aurora Petals. Now just you wait, Henry Higgins. Just you wait. These are like in 5-gram little bags. And they're all different sizes and shapes. Look at, there's some like these pallets that are giant, right? That's like a giant one. But something like this, you could even cut it down and put it in the bezel. It's almost big enough. You could stitch this on first, right? Glue it down something and then stitch through it. This could be the background, right? So there's a few large sequins. Then in this Aurora Petals, look at these. Look at the shell palettes. I know all of these sequins in one mix. I know. But I've been saving them. They are not glass. They are plastic. They're not the vintage sequins. These are, though I've had them for a while, these are contemporary. I may or may not have a lead on some vintage sequins for you. But look at these. Look at these little flowers. Aren't they delish? Yeah, they call them like mylar, but right, they're shiny plastic, but they're gonna be grand. This has some moons. There's some small sequins. There's large sequins. Right. I love it. Gina, tell your husband a big hello from the bead lady. Yes, I'm working my magic today. Yeah, the old school sequins, Terry, were like glass, right? Pre-plastic. So, and Debbie, I'm going to use these to stitch on. So the same way, like, let's get this bracelet back in here. And I'm going to show you on Saturday during my great bead extravaganza segment. But like, see how like I did the pearl there? That could just as well as be the sequin, right? Anything, you know, it just covers a little more real estate. So like, here's one of those leaves. We could put the leaf, you know, down in the channel, bead around it, bead over it, right? The channel bangle, the biggest one, these larger sequins go in there really nicely. Okay. So again, this is Aurora Petals. That's this one. Oh, let me Let me focus. There we go. Okay. Okay. So that's this one. Next, we have for Amber Alchemy. This sequin mix is called Luster Forge. Whenever I pick one up, it's my favorite. But look at this one. This has these little, like, almost like little wings, right? Look, it has my all-time favorite sequin. I have some of these that are vintage. Look at these little cup flowers. Those of you who have seen my bead embroidery and my patches that I do, I use a lot of these little cupped flowers. Okay. It also has some of the palettes that are a little bit smaller. It has these guys here that you could embellish with seed beads, right? It has some square sequins. I just love them. Next, and then Debbie, I'll answer your bangle question for you. I'll put one on. So also, I wanted to let you know the sequins are packaged in these little kind of resealable bags. In order for the sequins kind of not to stick to them, I just kind of fold that over, kind of to fold the sticky underneath. So then you can kind of get all of the sequins out of the bag without them sticking. I just thought they looked so nice in the clear plastic, but that little sticky edge can kind of be a pain. All right. Now, last but not least, the Phoenix collection with Firebird. This sequin mix is called Carnival Gleam. This also has one of my favorite sequins in it. I have it in a vintage. This one is... Oh, and thank you, Terry. That's great. You've got one and it works on you. And we also have the cuffs that Emily used. You can also cover, like what Emily did, cover the cuff with some of the ultra suede, and then, you know, it'll be an adjustable cuff. So if they don't work for you, you can always return them. Right? Sales are not final on these things. So if you get it and you're like, no, thanks, but no thanks, just let me know. Okay. And we can initiate a return for you. It's not a problem. So here is Carnival Gleam. Let me just open that up, fold that back, and whoops. There it is. Where's that opening? Here we go. So these are a little brighter. Again, some different flower shapes. They have like a giant, there's some more of these shells or scallops. These also have like a big giant leaf in them. Okay. So those are the sequins that go with them. Okay, let me zoom out a little bit here. So we're still, here we go. Now the last things that we've got. So what I'm going to do is, you can take a screenshot there if you want. Hang on, I need to find some containers. Hang on, this is what I want. This is what I want. Okay. So I'm going to mix mine. I mean, not the different colorways yet, though I may. Here is the Twilight Bloom. And, whoops, sorry, I moved my cursor around too quickly. This is the Aurora Garden collection. So that's the Twilight Bloom and the Aurora Petals. Those are going to go in together. So that's ready for me to use. Let me mix in the Amber Alchemy. Here's the Ash and Amber. These are just to-go containers. And this is the Luster Forge Sequin Mix. Yes, girl, yes. Look, just look at it. I don't even want to use them. I just want to put them together. Now, last one here, Phoenix Festival. Here's Firebird. And here's Carnival Gleam. I mean, come the fork on. Look at that. Love. So now the last thing we have is we have some old school rhinestones and crystals. Okay. For the Aurora Garden, I have the Mystic Mirage. That's this one. Mystic Mirage is this one right here. Let me scoot in a little bit. What these mixes are consisting of, you get 30 sew-on rhinestones and 6 tiny 6mm marguerite flowers. Okay. I love them. Love, love. These are kind of hard to find nowadays, right? So we went back to one of our old vendors that's back in New York and found these. So these are stitch-on. So you can see on the back of these rhinestones, there's little holes that you can stitch into them. And then this marguerite flower has the hole in the center, and you get 6 of those. I love these. I want to start carrying more of this stuff, but I thought I would test it in the mix to see how you liked it. So again, these are sold separately. The second one that goes with the mix, this is the Golden Ember. So this has kind of like a light Colorado topaz and then dark topaz flower in it. And then the third one for Phoenix Festival. This one is Twilight Tempo. And this is all tanzanite all the time. Tanzanite sew-ons and a tanzanite, I think, with like a shadow coating. Just look, oh, so good. I love them. Love. Okay. So now let's go ahead and I'm going to, let me zoom out. Let's go ahead and dump these in the mixes that they belong into. So this one goes here. This one goes here. I mean, you can put them anywhere. It doesn't matter. Okay. So there we have it. So I've mixed all 3 of the separate components into one mix. Okay. I love them. Love, love. Got a few more sequins in there. Let me dump those out. Okay, so let me show you the bezels and how these all work. Okay. There we go. I'll put these in there just so I remember. These are new bezels from Becky Nunn. So you know that the quality is perfect on these. I just love Becky loves resin. She loves to work with resin. She loves to make things that go with resin. So her bezels, the walls and everything on her bezels are just so gorgeous, so beautiful, right? So let me get my my millimeter gauge, and we can talk a little bit about how big these are. So they go in order. And again, if you like these, we can carry them in some different colors. But what I think would look amazing would be to make a cord like this, right? And then do an embellished like little pendant on the bottom. Wouldn't that be awesome? So it'll kind of have that same kind of long vintage feel to it. And Kim, I'm glad you asked. So the Rose Monty, where's my bracelet? I had some vintage Rose Monties. Rose Monties are harder to find. They were a Swarovski product. Can you see that rhinestone in there? Right by my little name thing is a Rose Monty. Let me go in a little tighter right there. Okay. So that one is a little flatter. Okay. The sew on is more like a Chanton, right? It's higher up. So it's going to sit a little bit higher, but they also sew on the four, north, south, east, west kind of thing. But they're a little, let me measure it for you. They are about 3.5 millimeters tall. Okay. So those are they. So let me go back here. Good. Okay, great. Yeah, so they're close, but they're a little different. All right, so this large one, a nice big oval, 40 millimeter by about 27, and it has a nice deep lip to it, which is about a little over 3 millimeters. These are all about the same height. Okay, this is that Marrakesh. I love this shape. This would make an excellent earring, right? So this is the large oval. This, I think, is the Marrakesh. And then this is the long rectangle. I thought that this rectangle would also make a great earring. Okay, and these are about 30 millimeter by about 11. Okay, those are they. Now, I also got these beads, and I'm going to be working on these today. I wanted to make an encrusted bead embroidery bead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a little template and bead a strip of the ultra suede and wrap it around. So it'll kind of be like a little mini bracelet, right? But it's going to be all encrusted all the way around. I think it's going to look so delicious and so vintage. Okay, I think it's going to be awesome. The crystal that I showed in my hand. So the sew-ons, Chantons, the flatter ones are known as Rose Monties. That's this one here. And it's essentially a crystal in a little setting that you can sew on. Okay. I love these sew-ons. All of this you could also glue on too, right? You could use some fabric glue. You could probably use diamond glaze. I would check it out to make sure that the glue doesn't hurt the finish. Yeah, I love these little spool beads. I hadn't seen them really, and I was looking at what I wanted for bead embroidery, and I'm like, I am going for these. You could do a whole lot of stuff with these really cool things, I think. So let me zoom out. Here we go. So yeah, so there it all is. It's all here. As I say, we're going to have everything in a collection so you can kind of shop and see what you like. Again, don't fret. We've got a good amount of these. The bezels, all of this stuff are things that we're going to keep carrying. The mixes are kind of one-offs for the Great Bead Extravaganza. But again, if you like them, I'll keep dropping these kind of interesting little collections, adding other things to it. I think it'll be fun for bead embroidery. So, yeah, this would be great. Yeah, for peyote stitch, right, Carrie? You could peyote stitch a nice little strip of beads around here. That would look just gorgeous. Gorge. You can also do some shopping by color, and you can add some other beads in this color story. Those would look great. These, Debbie, you would just use these, you would string these as a bead, right? It's a nice generous hole. You could get a 2mm cord in here. You could just string them on, on whatever. You could use a 10-aught delica to do the peyote. There's a lot that you could do with this. You could also string this. I'm going to see if it fits on the 4mm round leather, because I think it would look great as a slider bead on a bracelet. So I'm hoping against hope that it will fit. Let me see. Yay. Awesome. They do. I think a row of these on, this is our 4mm round leather. I think they are going to be amazing. I do that little bracelet. Let me see if I have one here. This has macrame on it, but right. So you could do something like that. You could even do a little bit. You could put the bead on in the center, right? Macrame it around the sides to hold that bead in the center, or you could silk wrap it or something. But this would look really good. You could also string it on ribbon for sure. That looks really nice. You could do it, however you want to string them, but I think they'll be really great focal beads. You can turn them to the side like this, put a couple of beads on the bottom and the top, and have it as a pendant to dangle, right? Like, I mean, it would be different, but you know how we strung something like this up, it would be kind of similar looking to that. Let's see. I think that would really be fun. So let me zoom out here. You can take a look. Let me move this over. There we go. That kind of helps out, I think, to kind of visualize everything. A screenshot of the necklace. Sure, let me get the necklace a little more in here. And you can see I have those marguerites. See how I've strung them? Let me zoom in. I want to do the same thing with some of the crystals. I mean, not the crystals, the sequins. See, here are the marguerites right there in that necklace. But I could string the flowers like that with some of the smaller ones, right? The smaller sequins lined up. Here's the necklace. You can certainly make your own mix with this. I just used a whole bunch of random, let me zoom out here. I made this so long ago. Random pearls. There's the twist bugle is in here. There we go. That'll be a good one for well, the screenshot's not very pretty. There we go. Maybe that's better. You can kind of see that, I think. Okay. I think, Mary, it's a good question. Do you think the sequins will hold up if they're strung and not sewn? So they're pretty, like here's one of these. Let me get a little tighter in here. And I'll probably use smaller ones, right, to stack up so they'll be a little more protected, like this, right? These larger ones I'll probably sew on, but they're pretty thick. See, they do kind of bend, but I don't know. They look okay. You could get like something like this, right? And wire wrap it, put it on the bottom. It would be kind of a light thing, but I don't know. Experiment. I haven't experimented as much, right? With them. Kim, you could definitely put bead caps on the top and the bottom. We have a ton of bead caps in that would look great with that for sure. I'm glad, Carolyn. You've got so many ideas. I love it. I love it. So what I would do is this, friends. We've got about a half hour before oh, and thank you, Janice, for that. Yeah, I probably wouldn't get the sequins wet, though. I am gonna, maybe I'll put a couple in a little glass of water and see what happens with them. These are contemporary, so I'm guessing they're pretty color fast, but I'm gonna I'll drop a few in a glass of water, see how they stay until tomorrow. You have about a half hour to shop. So what I would do is I would jump over to Bead Shop. I'd sign in. You can put that coupon code in. Let me put that up. Coupon code is TGBE15. It's good on all of this stuff. And it's the coupon code expires on Sunday night at midnight. I would shop fairly soon, though. I mean, we stocked a good amount, but our TGBE stuff and our mixes always sell out, right? I wish I had the capacity to buy an infinite amount of product, but we're just a small business, so we're doing the very best we can to keep all of these in. But don't worry, if and when we run out, and it looks like the feedback is pretty positive on all of this stuff, I will definitely make some more of these pieces for you. Okay, there we go. Maybe like that. That'll work out. So that's that. Oh, the spiral macrame, Linda. This is just a spiral macrame. I did it with 0.5 millimeter leather cord. Okay. So remember the TGBE code. It's good for everything store-wide with the exception of Bead Shop Studio, anything to do with a retreat, and anything to do with a gift certificate. Okay. That would look great. Okay. That's my story, my friends. Oh, let me throw in the Gatsby 2 mix. And so you'll find all of these at noon. They will post in our Just In all of the new stuff. I've also made a collection that has the bangles and everything else in. So yeah, this is, Linda, it's just a spiral macrame, just macrameing, doing your half hitch all in the same direction rather than going from the left to the right to the left. Just keep going. all the way around, and it'll make the spiral naturally. It's a fun look, isn't it? It's fun. So thank you all for joining me today on our broadcast. Gosh, we've had so much fun. And this is Cheryl's asking about ultra suede. Just choose whatever colors you like, right? Even if you put like this bright blue with the ambers would look great. You could use something that's a neutral background. This one that I stitched on here, I think I used the moss in that one. So all of these will be in new arrivals. This is all new arrival stuff. It's not Bead Shop Studio stuff. So you'll find it all in the new arrivals in Just In. Okay. So you'll see those there. The only thing that's a Bead Shop Studio piece is this Gatsby 2 that I've got here for you. Okay. So as I say, tonight at 5 p.m. Pacific, we'll be doing the preview party with everybody. You'll find it'll go out on all of our socials. You'll find it on the Great Bead Extravaganza page, all of that good stuff. You can see what all of the companies are doing. And then tomorrow, my broadcast, okay, I will be showing the how-to. So I'll have, hopefully, some samples done, some things going on, and we'll do a how-to tomorrow. That how-to will also live on the Bead Shop website, right? And then I'll be back tomorrow afternoon at 4 p.m. Pacific with my buddy Francesca Watson. I will be hosting her segment, which is metalsmithing for beaders. Judy Manchester, a really great needle for bead embroidery. I usually use the Sharps size 10 for all of this. I'll put that Sharps in the bead embroidery, category. I would use thread-wise, I'd probably use KO and use whatever color floats your boat, right? And then the bead embroidery, I'm going to be using all of these mixes. Okay. So yes, that's what I'll be using. So thank you again, my friends. Let me just, as a reminder, there is the preview night tonight, the coupon code, and don't forget to go over and enter to win one of 3 $150 bead shopping sprees courtesy of the Great Bead Extravaganza companies. You can enter that giveaway right over on the Great Bead Extravaganza page. And I also wanted to caution you folks, please, with the giveaways, we don't ask for payment or money or anything weird. So if anybody messages you, we've had this happen in the past during the Great Bead Extravaganza. It hasn't happened in a while. But do not give your information out to anyone who contacts you via Facebook. All of the companies would contact you via your email because we'd have your email as a customer. None of us as the Great Bead Extravaganza message you or contact you under the guidelines of Great Bead Extravaganza. So that would be a scam. So make sure that you are safe that way. Okay. And all of the needles, that is correct, Cindy Brooke. All the needles are the item of the week this week. They are 10% off. So if you couple that coupon code TGBE15, you'll save 25% on all needles because the needles are already marked down. Okay. Candy Cooper is going to start this off tomorrow at 8 a.m. with a little, question and answer. Then it'll go right into her segment. Then my segment will come on. So I'll see you folks tonight for preview party at 5. I'll see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. for bead embroidery with me. And again, 4 o'clock with Francesca to, do her metalsmithing for beaders. We've got a full weekend ahead of us. And then Sunday, we've got all of our second crew. And then at the end of Sunday, we do our Ask Me Anything. So I'm tired already just thinking about it. I've got to get another glass of coffee, cup of coffee. All right. Thank you all so much. for your support. As always, all of us small businesses who make up the Great Bead Extravaganza really appreciate your patronage, your likes, your shares, your support. Small businesses, especially right now in the crazy climate that the world is in, shopping small and showing your appreciation to the small companies who work so hard to bring you creativity through the medium of beading. We really, really appreciate you. So thank you so much. All right, my friends, I'll see you a little later. See you on the other side. And we'll link all of Francesca's info. You can find her at the Makery in Bulverde, Texas. She is online. And if you go to the Great Bead Extravaganza, you'll see her link with all of her bio and info there. And we'll show that again tonight during the preview party. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. We'll talk to you all soon. Have a fantastic day. See you tonight.